O Great Spirit, Namaste. Saints and sages of all times, of all places, Namaste. O ye pathmakers of old, O ye beings of the air, the earth, the fire, the water, the ether, Namaste. Om Shri Babaji Namaha. Om Shri Lahiri Mahasaya Ji Namaha. Om Shri Yukteswar Ji Namaha. Om Shri Paramahansa Yogananda Ji Namaha. Om Shri Shali Ji Namaha. Om Shri Goswami Kriyananda Ji Namaha. Ancestors of all of the lineages to whom we attune, Namaha. Most beloved and precious Ishtadevata, in all of thy names and all of thy forms, Namaha. Be with us, bless us, bless us, bless us again and again and again, that our time together be fruitful, that we might be healed of our hearts, that our scattered minds may come into oneness, that we might see that which needs to be seen and hear that which needs to be heard, and heal that which needs to be healed. Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 Om Gam, 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 Gum, 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 Aim, 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 Huim, 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 Klim, 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 Shim, 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 Shrim, 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 Om, Aim, Gum, Reem, Klim, Shim, Shim, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Namaste. Welcome. Welcome to my heart. I hope your heart, your home, your abode is warm this morning or comfortable for you. We're having a winter day in Chicago today. But it matters not. Once upon a yogi time, there were children playing together. And they all sat down. And one said to the other, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" "Oh, I don't know." "I do," said the little girl. "I want to be a paleontologist. I want to study dinosaur bones, dig them up and study them." Wow. "I want to be a pilot. I want to be a conductor. I want to be a cashier at the grocery store. I want to be a teacher. I don't care what. Of little children. Oh, I don't want to teach little children. Only teenagers. Oh, I don't want to teach teenagers. Only adults." All 3 children. "I want to be a race car driver. another boy, I want to be a pilot, a fast racing pilot, and a dad. And on they went. Now, they each had dreams of what they thought they wanted to be when they grew up. I asked a little 5-year-old a few breaths ago what he wanted when he grew up. And he said, oh, I'm going to meet my wife again. And we're going to have 4 children. Oh, okay. Yes, she's going to have brown hair and she's going to have brown eyes. And her name is, if I remember right, Liz. And we'll have 4 children. Oh, okay. And I left it at that. What do you want to be? I said to him, a dad. A dad. Each of us, along our road, along our path, we have what we want to be when we grow up. But when asked that question, I didn't see anybody say, well, I want to be wise. I would like to be kind. I'd like to be compassionate. Oh, maybe I'd like to be as wise as my grandpapa or my grandmama. Or I'd like to play a musical instrument as beautifully as, well, you hear that more often. What did you think you wanted to be when you grew up? And what have you become? Now, here's the rub. Here's the rub. Oh, you can't say, well, I wanted to be, but then, oh, this is what I turned out to be, or this is what it turned out to be, or oh. We need along the path to say, this is what I choose. If you want to be an airline pilot, be an airline pilot. There's a quite well-known conductor in the classical music world. His name is Daniel Harding, and he's a pilot for Air France. Now, all musicians who want to be well-known, oftentimes they have to take part-time jobs, just like actors have to take part-time jobs. I've never understood if Maestro Harding took his job as a pilot at Air France as a part-time job. But he's a deployed pilot at Air France, and he's a world conductor of classical music. He has conducted and has a post with the Swedish Symphony. He has conducted with the London Philharmonic. He has worked with Claudio Abbado and these worked with the Orchestre de Paris, world-class symphony orchestras. But he's doing 2 things. I'd love to ask him how it's working for him and which he likes, which he really wants to focus on. If I were to guess, I would say it's his music that he really wants to focus on. Now, what about you? What do you want? Kriya Yoga is a methodology. Kriya Yoga is a philosophy. It's a science through which we can guide our lives, direct our lives, see the path that we're setting, and soften and soften and soften and soften that karma, and soften and soften and soften that path. You all know the principle of Aham Brahmasmi. I am the creative principle. And you know the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, which says that everything that happens in my life I've created. Sometimes that's hard to swallow. Sometimes it's really hard to swallow to say, now why did I walk down this road? What was happening that I walked down this road that I believed was going to lead me to a certain place. And where has it led me? There are many times that we have dreams in our lives, and we work really hard to fulfill those dreams. And they don't come to fruition. Back in the 70s, when Kriya was just forming the temple, he rented a big space, big for him, he said, and he put out flyers at the time and advertised a seminar he was going to give. And he got to the room ahead of time and set out all these chairs, and he waited. 20 minutes to, nobody was there. 1:45, nobody was there. 10:10, nobody was there. At 5 minutes to, one person walked in. And I said, when he told me the story, Guruji, what did you do? He said, well, I welcomed him. I said, and then what? Well, I taught the seminar a little differently, focused just on him, that one person. I said, wow, that must have been something. Well, in Kriya Yoga, in all the mystical paths, we say, if you're a teacher, you teach. And do not become despondent about or discouraged. You teach. If people come, don't worry. Are there a lot of people? Are there a few people? The truth goes, if there's one person that you can help with what you know of the mystical traditions, you share it, you teach it. All of you here have a wealth of your own experiences, your own yoga city, your own insights into the path of Kriya Yoga and what it has done for you. And you don't have to say, oh, this is Kriya Yoga, blah, 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 you have to become a yogi bond. No. Yeah, this is what I learned. If somebody asks you, yes, yeah, would you like to meditate a little bit? Or would you like to watch your breath? Or would you like to relax? Let me help you reduce the stress a little bit. Everything that we do in life, every piece of wisdom that you gain, be willing to share that with others. But whatever you do in life, if you're going to dance, dance. If you're going to sing, sing. If you're going to seek out love, seek out love. Drink a glass of water. Delicious. Take the sip of water. But what do we do? Oh, I was on retreat years ago, getting into we were in Hawaii and getting into a car at lunch break. We had all stopped at the delicatessen and gotten sandwiches, and we were going to the beach. And we all had our little bags, and the person driving the car pulls his sandwich out of the bag. And he's driving and talking and eating his sandwich at the same time. I didn't say anything, but inside my heart felt ill at ease, felt sick. Because he wasn't doing just one thing. He wasn't just driving, which he should have been, all of us in the car. But he was driving and talking and eating, trying to feed himself at the same time. Now, he's not alone. How often have you tried to do two things at once? There's even a saying, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. But in yoga, we want to leave that aside. In Kriya, we want to leave that aside. I want to do one thing. Today, The moon is in Gemini. I got to do lots of things. The twins, Gemini, the twins, 2 things. And yesterday, the sun moved into Aquarius, as did the planet Pluto move into Aquarius. So we have our feet in the doorway of a new time. In the fall, we're going to step back a little bit when Pluto moves back into Capricorn for one last time. And then we'll move into Aquarius again for another 40 some odd years. And will not come around again for another 244, I think. We're in a new time. What do you want to do with your life? And what's stopping you? Now, how do I say this? In life goes on. It goes on, goes on, goes on, goes on. And then sometimes there are days that are hurtful to us, to our ego, that are disappointing, very disappointing. When you've tried something and worked really hard and worked really hard and worked really hard, and it doesn't manifest. And not only does it not manifest, but it feels as if somehow people are being cruel or uncaring or not kind to you. What do we do at those times? What do we do when we have deep disappointments in life? What is to be done? Bring your awareness back here again and again and again and again. Just stand up. It matters not how many times you fall. It matters not how many times you're discouraged. It matters that you can put your hands upon the beautiful earth and stand and begin and step again and again and again and again. For many years of my life, in my professional career, I worked in executive capacities in large corporations. Oftentimes the only woman in the early years. And sometimes in those situations, men are not very kind to each other or to anybody that's around them in their words. Let us just say they're not kind in their words. And I worked with a fellow one time who kept saying to me, you shouldn't take everything so personally. Just because they were yelling, don't take it personally. Just because they were swearing, don't take it personally. These were very, very, very well-dressed, well-educated people. Highly compensated. And for years I asked myself, what's wrong with me? Why is my mind offended when somebody is rude? It's fine to disagree, but you don't have to disagree and be mean or cruel. And it was a lesson for me, as I'm sure for some of you it has been also, when you've had those experiences, when people either ignore you, they don't consult you, they don't listen to what you're saying, they don't value you, they don't value your work. What is to be done? Well, my beloved, what is to be done is to pick up, stand up again and again and again, and walk until you find a place in the path that you can say, I think that's the direction I'd like to go. I think that's the way I'd like to live. In time, as you change, all of the karma that I had for living that part of my life had a very specific purpose. It was really quite strongly there from another lives. But when I had learned those lessons, and when I began to markedly Soften, 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 soften. Change the personality. I was no longer relative to that place anymore or those people anymore because it was no longer acceptable to my personality to behave like that to another human. That's all. It's not that what they're doing is wrong. When somebody is rude to you, when they're cruel, when they seem to be cruel, when they seem to be rude, when they seem to be uncaring, oftentimes we don't know what they're living with. We don't know what they've gone through. We don't know the burdens that they're carrying, and it matters not. You do not need to make excuses for the other. You do not need to do any of that. It is just that when those times come and you're feeling low, use the teachings to inspire yourself, to share the beauty that you are in the world, to share the beauty of your smile, of your wisdom, of your silence, the supportive beauty of your silence. Share it. Share it. Now, a couple of problems in life. just general problems. The mind is your greatest friend. The mind is your biggest challenge. But the mind has a tendency, very big tendency, towards self-deprecation, putting the self down, or towards self-aggrandizement, not seeing one's capacities clearly and assuming that one has a capacity that you don't. Most people, it's the same thing. It's an imbalance. It's just simply not seeing clearly, having a veil over the eyes and not seeing clearly, not seeing life clearly. That's all it is. So what is to be done? Oh, quiet, quiet, quiet the mind so it is possible to see clearly. Change your prism. If you are always a student, always a student, always willing to be a student until the day that you leave the earth, you will be a student. In the next lifetime, you will be a student. That state of consciousness to say, yeah, I'm studying this, I'm studying that, I'm studying this. Oh, in the last year of his incarnation, Pranananda loved languages and he loved books. But there was one fellow whose last name was Marsh, M-A-R-C-H, who wrote language books in French. And so, anyway, Pranananda had given me a couple of the books, level 1, level 2, and there were a couple of copies of level 1. And I was going to visit him and he said, I'd really like you to bring me back level 1 of the March book. You have an extra copy, or could I have the copy that you have? And I said, well, sure, but what do you want level 1 for? He said, I've got to study. I've got to study. Now, at that point, he'd been living in France for 15, 18 years at least. And he's back studying level 1. He's just back studying level 1 because he wants to study. I've started to expand my musical language education so that I can read music more adeptly. And I had an experience yesterday, and I felt that I wanted to share with you because it really, really I went to get the metronome. We have 2 metronomes in our house. Metronome is an instrument through which you measure you can measure the timing. You can match the timing of the device so that you can match your singing or your playing with it. And my husband is a musician, so here we are studying, and I'm asking questions. before I ask this question about the metronome, I pick it up and I see that what he had been telling me, I could see it on the metronome. I started to say a very, very critical thing about myself. My mind started to call myself all kinds of names, which I will not repeat. But every name you could have called yourself, my mind was starting to call myself. And I stopped and I said, what are you doing? You're just learning this. What are you doing? What are you doing? Speaking out loud. I was literally speaking out loud. And I said, you haven't learned this before. So I'm talking to myself. Stop that. Stop that. And then go in to the room that we were studying in. And I was getting ready to ask Mark a question about something on a score we were looking at. And I started to say, I know this is going to be a blankety, 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 blank question. Just like using all the words that my students use when they ask a question. And I say, students and disciples, and I said, no, just ask the question. I was doing the same thing. My mind was doing the same thing. And I stopped myself. I said, I'm sorry. Here I go. And that was the second time this week I did that. I did it with my voice teacher. I started it with my voice teacher. Now that tells me that the mind, it reminds me again and again and again, the mind has this tendency to criticize, to belittle. And we must, and I have spent a long time working on that, as I know many of you have. And so when it rears its head up again, you have to say, well, isn't that interesting? Not going to do that anymore. But don't say, I will never do that anymore. I'm going to do my best. And if it happens again, I will keep on doing my best. I will stand up and try again. I will stand up and try again. I will stand up and try again without beating on myself, without criticizing myself. That's what you need to do, my beloved. It's okay to dance and miss a beat. It's okay to sing and sing off key. It's okay to live and stumble. It's okay to work really hard for something that you want and it doesn't come to fruition. Okay. If you really want it, brush yourself off, turn inward, meditate. How can I possibly, what can I do? What needs to be done here? What do I need to do differently? Doing the same thing in the same way over and over again is not going to work. What can I do differently that will be of help? And then do that. But focus yourself. And then, the question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? If you want to be compassionate when you grow up, then judgmentalness must be left by the wayside, including judgmentalness of yourself. If we do not leave that one by the wayside, then we stop the flow of prana, the flow of energy, the flow that says, oh, yes, I can learn. I can learn. Be curious. Be willing to ask questions. Be willing to learn from everyone around you. Become like the young child who doesn't really know the doesn't know words, all the words, doesn't know all of the experiences, and they have to ask, what does this mean? Oh, you said that. What does that mean? Begin to think, really to think, what does it mean to be truthful? What does truth mean? What does honor mean? What does love mean? What does respect mean? And the jewels above the head of God: wisdom, nonviolence, compassion. Nonviolence, wisdom, compassion. Compassion, wisdom equals nonviolence. For you and me, we have to stop and ask ourselves, what do those words mean? How do we live those words? They're not words, they're states of consciousness that we need to bring ourselves to the shore of. And in all of your doing, in all of the many activities of your life, slow down. Slow down. Stop romanticizing busyness. What are you doing? It's a very big problem in America and in many places of the world, but really America is a big problem. You ask people how they are and they say, oh, busy. It's been a busy, busy week. Busy, 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 busy. And we have used that word and it becomes, oh, they must be important because they're busy. They must be important. The French think you're crazy. And they're right. What do you mean all this busyness? They may know how to be busy, they may know how to make money, but they sure don't know how to live. Stop that. And when you find yourself doing that, when you find yourself, oh, I'm really busy, what can you take out? And why are you choosing to be so busy? What's wrong with sitting and meditating? You know, some of you are so busy you don't even have 15 minutes in a day to meditate. Out of the whole 24 hours, you can't even find 15 minutes to meditate. What is all that busyness going to bring you in time? If you're going to dance, dance. Live your life more harmoniously as you choose, not as I choose, not as I say to you, not as anybody else says to you. And on those days, and I know for some of you, this month has been hard, this last couple of months has been hard. This year, all 20 days of it, has been difficult. Pick yourself up again. Just pick yourself up. And it's okay. It is all right. You are accepted. It is all right that you've been disappointed. We all have. You and me both. It's all right that we've been hurt. Yeah, you and me both. Just don't pass it on. Don't do it for others. And pick yourself up and say, okay, I know. Whatever the dream is that I'm dreaming, if it's really a dream that I want, I can have it. better make sure I want it first. I better make sure I want it. And then you work, and you work, and you work, and you work. You often hear me talk about musicians and using music as an analogy to practicing Kriya Yoga. A practice of musical instruments being practice analogy to your meditation practice, your pranayama practice, your journaling, your tarka, your reflection. You're practicing the different yama and niyamas, the forgiveness rituals. You often hear me talk about musical practice. And there's a wonderful, to me, wonderful violinist by the name of Hilary Hahn. For those of you who use Instagram, I was going to say Instacart, but Instagram. Hilary Hahn has a I don't know what you call it, a group of guests that she has started called 100 Days of Practice. Now, to me, it's quite meaningful because musicians from around the world posting their practice. Now, this is a world-class violinist, and she posts images of herself, videos of herself practicing. It is so encouraging, my beloved, because you see the effort she's putting in, the work that she's putting in to practicing, to practicing, to practicing, to practicing. And it's not as if it's not her first time on the stage, right? It's not her first time playing a piece. You know, she began to play the violin when she was 3 years old, a young child. But our yoga practice needs to be like this. Every day, it's not 15 minutes, it's not 1 hour, it's throughout the day, carrying the practice with you so that your observer self is walking through the day. Yes, I'm observing. Oh, yes, the mind is fluctuating here now. What do I do to bring it back to center? And just as I had yesterday, as I was studying, and I could see that here I was learning something new. And because I didn't know it from before, my mind became critical and was ready to start calling the self names. No, neti, neti, neti. But what's the beauty of the practice? The beauty of the practice is it didn't get out of my mouth. It just got to the front of my mouth, to the front, and I started to say you, and then what are you doing? That's the beauty of the practice, is that you can stop yourself, and start again and again and again and again with a new breath. Whatever you want, you will manifest in this lifetime, in other lifetimes. You will manifest it. You want to be a Swami? You'll be a Swami in time. Or you're a Swami and you're not sure what you did. It'll work out in time. That was me. The day after I was ordained. First thought that I woke up is, my God, he made a mistake. He didn't know what he was doing when he ordained me. I better call him and tell him. Oh, I wonder if he knew about the big mistake he made. That was 30 years ago. Last week. Anyway, in time, it all works out. I can feel that some of you have been hurting. I can feel that for some of you it's been a rough time, that you have been going through difficulties, worries about the world, worries about your own life, worries about your hopes and your dreams. You have the great yoga asana. You can pick yourself up and stand on your own 2 feet. And if you wobble, you lean on your Ishtadevata. You lean on the teachings. You lean on the awareness of yourself and your own goodness. And when you've made a mistake, as we all have, well, I wish I'd done that differently. But life is cyclical, and I will do it differently again. Rise above. Don't sit here like this. Don't be the twin. This and this and this and this. No. Above. From above you can see, my beloved. From above you can see. The teachings are here to help you. The lineage and I and the lineage. Whatever I can do as a part of this living lineage, through prayer, through conversation, I'm willing to do. This is my Dharma. It has nothing to do with any organization. It is to do with the living teachings of Kriya Yoga. We will go into meditation in a moment. You are accepted. You are appreciated. You are good. And your dreams will come true. And if it's cold, as it is on a day like today, it's going to warm up. It might get cold again. But the sun is bright here, my beloved. It is bright here. You are not alone. You are not alone. Remember, you are a part of life. You are not alone. May the Lord and lineage bless you. May the Lord and lineage protect you. May Lord and lineage bring unto you all that you need. Let us meditate together. Namaste. Sitting with your spine erect, place your hands in the Om Mudra, the index finger and the thumb together, and turn your hands to the left, your head to the left, exhaling twice. Bring the head back to the center, beginning to watch the breath. Oh, great Spirit, bless this meditation. Using the sipping breath, draw the energy from the limbs to the trunk. From the trunk to the spinal column. From the base of the spine to the sun center. Take that golden ball of light and extend it out in front of you. Expand it and sweep it around to the left, encasing your body in golden light. And do this 2 more times. And now ascend above the room you're in. Above the continent. Ascend as high as you are able. Reaching the high place, you see a forest in front of you, leading up a mountain. It is warm and welcoming, comforting. Enter upon the path leading into the forest. The sun is dappling down. You hear the water running next to you. As you ascend, you see the berries growing. Ascend. The light becomes brighter. The path opens. A meadow. Birds and butterflies. Flowers blossoming. Walk through the meadow. Ascend. Breathe in the sunlight. Ascend. Back into the forest. Smelling all of the pines. Ascend. In front of you is a clearing. A shrine of healing. Enter into the grove. Feel the blessings of the shrine pouring forth to you, welcoming you, embracing you. Enter into the shrine. Breathe the light. As you walk to the back, there's a pool of light fed by a waterfall of light. Enter into the pool. All of the old dissolves away. Walk to the waterfall of light. Stand underneath the waterfall. The light pours through you, over you, washing free all of the difficult karmas, washing free of all of the karma. through you, filling your being with light, over you, filling your being with light. Breathe in the light. Allow your body to feel and accept the light. Ananda, 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 Ananda. Walk forth from the light. Feel yourself clothed anew, walking through the pool of light. Clothed anew, filled with the light. The body vivified and strengthened. Leaving the shrine, return with ease to the high place. We gather in the high place of meditation, in the grove of the meditators. Let us use the Om Shanti mantra. Oh, most beloved Lord, join with us. O ye powers that be, join with us, that our blessings may go where they are most needed. First to Mother Gaia, upon whose bosom we live. May she have all that she needs. May we walk upon her with harmony. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For all of those who are living with a hardened heart, may their heart be softened and open to compassion and wisdom and nonviolence. Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. For those souls who have become indifferent to life, may the veil be lifted. May they see that which they are a part of. May harmony flow into their lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. O Lord, thou knowest better than we that which is most needed upon the earth, most needed by those who are living with food insecurity, water insecurity, housing insecurity, health insecurity, financial insecurity. Thou knowest better than we. We call upon thee, O ye powers that be, to pour forth thy blessings, to join with us, that all that is needed be given most, most, most harmoniously, swiftly and surely. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Bless this Sangha, bless these souls, bless all of us, my Lord, who are here at this moment, that our needs be met, that we might walk with ever greater wisdom and compassion and in nonviolence as we walk through life, that our disappointments be healed, that our hurts be healed, that we might find ever greater joy and wisdom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May every cell of your being be filled with the bliss of Ananda. Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. May at this moment you see that which thou art, the good which thou art. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Gam, Om Aim, Om Hrim, Om Klim, Om Shim, Om Hashim. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thou art blessed. Become an ever greater blessing unto all of those who enter your aura. I thank you for the blessings of your presence today, for your spiritual energies, for all of the effort that you put into blessing, to being here, to sharing your blessings. Your blessing is Your presence is a blessing. You are a blessing. Carry that forth with you when you go this week. Namaste, Ji.